Hello, I am Pelayo, and this is Saladolandia, and today I present you a super good and surprising dish. When you feel like making prawn or shrimp and you have guests, the usual thing is to grill it. And yes, it's very good, but it forces you to be there, which means you're in the kitchen and not with your guests. Well, today I present you with an alternative that's just as good, and you don't have to be there all the time. In fact, you can prepare it in the morning, leave it in the fridge, and bake it just at the end. It's about baked prawn. Pay attention, because you're interested in the recipe and it's very good. To prepare them, you're going to need the following ingredients to start: a few prawns, or alternatively, shrimp. 20 units, 3 cloves of garlic, 1 lemon, 1 teaspoon of oregano, a splash of oil, salt to taste, and optionally, half a teaspoon of powdered ginger. We'll start by preparing a good Majo or crushed mixture, for which we need to take 3 cloves of garlic and crush them well. That becomes much easier if you first chop them like this with a small knife. The smaller you make the pieces, the less you will have to work later with the mortar. So this is optional, but I think it saves me time. So I take the chopped garlic, I also cut it in the opposite direction so that there are not only slices, but small pieces. And once I have it chopped, I'm going to transfer it to the mortar. So first what sticks to the knife and then what's on the board. Let's see if I can get it in focus. Everything goes into the mortar. Once I have the garlic in the mortar, I'm gonna add the next ingredient for the mash, which in this case is a very common one. Can you guess what it is? Of course, it's common salt. The one we've always used, in my case half a teaspoon, but this is to taste. If you like it salty, a little more. I add a tablespoon of finely chopped powdered oregano and half a teaspoon of ginger. This will greatly enhance the lemon's citrus flavor, but it's optional. You could also use it fresh. Here in the spices we can have a personal touch. If you like it more, instead of lemon you can put lime, and you can also use fresh ginger to give it an even more useful touch. That each one what they like the most? That's right, once you crush everything well, you get a kind of paste. As you can see here, you have to add the lemon or lime juice. As I was telling you, what you have to do is add the juice of a lemon. It will be much easier if you roll it on a hard surface like the countertop first, and you'll notice that with your fingers, you can squeeze the lemon and it gets a little soft. This way, the juice is extracted much more easily. What I do is cut the lemon in half very carefully. Always remember to cut in the opposite direction. With the hand and the help of a fork, prick it well so that the juice falls more easily. And now we stick the fork in the center and press. Touch. If you see seeds, you remove them and everything goes inside. All the lemon juice is going to fall into the mortar itself. And as you just saw, with almost no effort, look, how easy it goes inside in a clean stream. With this trick of doing it, roll it first and prick it with the fork. The juice is extracted in a jiffy, then we add a stream of oil. Generous, and then to stir it. When the oil has combined with the juice and the paste that we have around it, we will have the majo ready and have the recipe already prepared, which you have just seen is very easy. Well, if I tell you that it's half the work, it's because we already have the cooking part done. We just have to wash the prawns or king prawns well. Let's see if I can focus on it. Look, you have to give it plenty of water in all areas so they are perfectly washed. We don't want sand, we don't want anything strange, just the pure flavor of the prawn or shrimp. However, there is a trick that I always like to use when I'm using this type of ingredient, which is with scissors. Cut these little hairs it has over here. Mainly because sometimes they come off and it's unpleasant if you find them in the dish. So if you have time, go ahead and cut the beards off the prawns and shrimps. Once you have that, we can proceed to place them on the tray that we're going to use in the oven. I have a circular one and I'm going to take advantage of it because if you put them like this, forming a little circle, a lot fit, and the best part is that they look super cool. So let's place them all with the head facing the same direction and the tail facing the same direction. Also, that's how they support each other. And if you have more, you can even stack them on top of each other so they are more vertical and take up a little less space. See, like this? That's the good thing about the shape of the king prawn. You can always work them in a way that they take up the space you want. What if you have a few? Do you lay them very slanted? What if you have a lot? Well, you alternate them more with each other and they stay a bit more vertical. So you can always put the same shape and they always look nice no matter how many you put. Look at that tray. It looks professional, it looks good, and it's super easy. Now what we're going to do is take advantage of that mash we just prepared. So we're going to take it and with the help of a spoon we're going to put a little bit in each one so everyone gets some. I always recommend starting by putting a little, and when we finish distributing to everyone, add what we have left over in each one. This way we can balance the amounts and we won't have some with a lot and others with a little. Here we have to distribute like good siblings, similar amounts for everyone, and that's the trick. First a little bit for each one, and then when you already know more or less what you have left, you take the opportunity to use the rest. I've already finished the first round. I'm on the second, and now I calculate a little better how much I should leave in each one. Simple tricks that seem like common sense, but that never hurts. To remind you, because sometimes common sense is the least common of the senses. Well, after rambling a bit, I throw in the rest of the mash, and you can see that even without cooking, the dish already looks good. Imagine now when it comes out of the oven. We have preheated the oven to 180 degrees and we are going to have them baking for about 20 minutes. So we place the tray inside with the oven already preheated. Heat up and down and if possible without a fan. And about 20 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is about 350 Fahrenheit. Then all you have to do is turn off the oven and take them out. Once baked, they look like this, fresh out of the oven. The pity is that you can't enjoy the aromas, but with this recipe, you turn an ingredient like this, the prawns, into a cooked dish without more. Nothing like that, much better. With its aromas, its flavors, and a spectacular crushed mixture that only serves to give you a touch and enhance the flavor of an ingredient already by itself. Delicious. Look, what a tray. My goodness. So now you know, the next time you want to make king prawn or shrimp, consider this option because it's more comfortable and on top of that, they turn out spectacular. A question I always ask myself is whether I'm a shrimp person or a king prawn person. They look similar, but they taste a bit different. Well, what about you guys? Tell me down below in the comments if you prefer prawn or shrimp. Let's clear up the doubt and determine which one tastes better. We are now nearing the end of the video. So I just want to remind you to look. This makes you salivate, so watch the video. I'm sure you'll love it. If not, you can also click here and subscribe to the channel. Also activate the bell, so every Thursday and Sunday you have a new recipe.